Okay guys, this video is going to be completely different. I can't wait to show you what we've got in this gun case. Hey guys, Gavin Gear here from UltimateReloader.com. I was recently talking with my friend Eric Cortina, and he was talking about how impressed he was with air guns and how fun and different they are, right? We've shown handguns, we've shown shotguns, we've shown rifles, we've done rimfire, but we've never shown air guns. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to look at some interesting gear, to learn about the process of using a compressor and a tank, filling the gun. We've got some slugs here, lots of really good stuff. So let's see what we've got here. So this is from FX Airguns. This is the Impact M4. This is a high-end air rifle. And this has also been kitted out with Air Marksman accessories from Utah Airguns. So I thought, why mess around? Let's start with something really awesome. We've got a simple moderator here. We've got a more advanced moderator or suppressor here. These are for airgun use only. And so we're going to be able to look at the different types of parts and accessories, how to use the compressor, how to use a tank, how to fill the gun. I've never done any of this before, and I thought it'd be a great opportunity to bring you all along for the ride in case you're interested in getting into air gunning. Also, recently on the channel, we showed, this is the Element Optics Helix 6-24 by 50 millimeter. This is the Gen 2 Helix. An optic that we just used on our 22 ARC build. We're going to get that installed on the Impact M4, and that is what I'm going to do next. Okay, so we've got the Helix Gen 2 6-24 by 50 mounted. We had to go to some higher rings because of this full-length rail that we've got up here, and I think it looks great, and that means that we're pretty much ready to finish accessorizing, fill the gun, and get it sighted in. This is going to be fun. So for our tank, we have an Air Marksman carbon fiber tank, and then we've got this Rovair compressor that we're going to use to fill the tank. So we're going to go ahead and plug this in and then get the hose connected on this side. Shut the release valve. And then get the hose connected to the tank. Run the bleeder, make sure that there's no pressure there. Okay. So now we should be able to open the tank. That's all good. Looks like we have, I don't know, 40 bar in there currently. And then turn the unit on AC. Hit go. And we'll wait for the tank to fill. Okay, so our tank is completely full. The compressor shut itself off, and that means we can disconnect the tank from the compressor. And in order to do that, we're going to shut the main valve and then bleed off the air that's in the line. That's everything that was in the line and in the compressor. Now we can take the line off of the compressor itself. We'll move this aside. And right now, let's see, this goes up to 250 bar max. We're at about 175, so we're going to add a little bit of air here. And for this, we're going to need to, looks like we're going to need to use a different hose, which I have the other hose here. Let's connect it to the gun first. This is the longer end here. Okay, that's got a longer pull collar on it. Yes, looks like that will work. Okay. Literally my very first time doing this. Connect this to the tank. making sure that I have that connected properly. Okay, now we can open the main valve. There we go. No more air movement. Okay, so we can close the main valve and bleed. Okay. I just watched Utah Airguns video on this and want to make sure that we're legit. Hey, look at that. Very nice. Okay, so we're filled there. That was not too bad. It's going to go a little bit smoother, I think, next time. So now that means I'm ready to sight this thing in. So before we can get to shooting, we got to load our magazine. This is a pretty simple process. We're going to take this spring-loaded turret, essentially, and put our first slug in, and the spring tension will hold that. And the clear window faces us, so nose down. Looks like it holds 28 slugs, and this is gonna go, there we go. All right, let me get on target with the scope here, and we'll see if we're even on paper. Very close. Elevation looks dead on. Nice. We might be ready to test this on some rock chucks, I'd say. So for the Impact M4, we decided to go with the Element Helix Gen 2 624 by 50. And for zeroing, what we did was what I typically do with a rimfire gun. Now I couldn't look down the bore, so what I did is I walked up to the target probably about 30 feet away or so and took a shot at one of the target spots, made some preliminary adjustments, and then did a full zeroing at 50 yards. And just like zeroing any other rifle really at that point, just making adjustments, dialing over to where the shots landed as appropriate, that kind of thing. And when we did our sight in, we also did a little bit of shooting on paper during that, of course. And the best group that we had was at 50 yards, 3 shots going into 0.256 inches. Really nice trigger on the Impact M4. Very easy to tell when the rifle is going to fire, and was really pleased, of course, with the recoil, which is non-existent. We did try it as well with the moderator that's included, and then also this Impulse Air 30 cal modular unit. So a lot of different options, a lot of different configurations that we can use with this rifle, especially with the Utah Airguns accessories and kit that I'll talk about towards the end of the video. So with the air rifle sighted in, it was time for the main event. When I talked to FX about this story, I told them the Ultimate Reloader Ranch is overrun with rock chucks. And my main goal with this first story is to go hunting and to see what I can do. And this is what happened when we decided to do that. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. Whack-a-mole. So we're gonna have to shoot high, right? There we go. They tend to come, see how the row of rocks, the one on the right. Okay, I'm rolling right now. Oh, he's a roller. Did you see that? I got it on the trigger cam. All right, sorry, we're back. That was another important customer we had to deal with there. So as you saw, the hunting was a ton of fun. This air gun is lethal. It might take a couple shots to do a quick kill on a rock chuck, but I love the fact that it's so quiet, and that gave us additional sneak up opportunities, and we just had a great time with this. After that, we did some casual shooting on steel targets from DM targets. These are rimfire targets. Turned out they worked really good and sounded somewhat similar to shooting them with a 22 long rifle. A little bit more challenging uh, than with center fire rifle, of course, but we shot at 50, 75, and 100 yards. Okay, so in our next airgun video, I plan to go into more detail and more depth with regard to the adjustments, the tuning, and possibly even a caliber changeover. But as I learned this platform, as a total newcomer, I wanted to give you guys just a quick anatomy breakdown of the system since it's so different than a centerfire or rimfire rifle. So starting under the buttstock, we have the regulator pressure gauge, which essentially is the output. We have the power plenum 750. This provides a constant pressure during the firing cycle. We have the quick connector, the male quick connector, which is under here. And it's almost like typical pneumatic quick connectors with air tools that you'd have in the shop, but on a miniature scale. That system proved to work really well. And once I got the sequence down with the bleeder valve and the main valve on the tank, it was super easy to do recharges, of which we did probably, I want to say about 5 in all of our shooting and goofing around. We have the valve adjuster, and that's up here right behind the tank. That's the primary pressure regulation. We have the micro power adjuster, also called the fine tune barrel roller. The air pressure tank, of course, up here. And then the regulator, which is inside the rifle. The rear macro power adjuster, that's called the hammer power wheel. Again, we'll go into more depth on what these actually do in our upcoming content. And then this Impact M4 looks a little bit different than some of the other more typical ones that you're going to see because it's been kitted out with some awesome accessories from Utah Airguns, including the Impact backbone rail. This guy has a 30 MOA inclination built in, which is great. The slower the projectiles you're shooting with lesser ballistic performance compared to the long-range centerfire rifles that we're used to, need more inclination overall to get on target further and further out. So to have 30 MOA built in is awesome. Gives you a lot of different options for mounting your scope, and it proved to be very stable and looks really nice as well. We've got the Loki standard bottom rail. I love the fact that this has the built-in ARCA because we use ARCA for all of our bipods. If we're shooting off the bench rest, we have bag riders. ARCA is just a really super easy way to get your rifle attached to a bipod, a tripod. We do both of those all the time, and other accessories as well. And then, as I mentioned previously, we have the Impulse Air IA1350 moderator. This is a really nice looking unit and also worked quite well. Wow, that was a lot for me to learn in one project. You know, having not done any serious air gunning, I've had air gun pistols, I've had, you know, the 10 pump air gun rifle kind of thing, CO2 cartridge stuff. This is on an entirely different scale and level and capability. It really did feel a lot like shooting rimfire to me. These Javelin slugs, these 22 caliber slugs, performed awesome on the rock chucks. They performed awesome when we were shooting the steel targets and our paper targets, as you saw there. If you're just getting into the air gunning game or contemplating it, I hope this video has been helpful, because for me to come into it with essentially zero prior knowledge, I reached out to some people that I know in the industry, Serena Jichnowski, F-Class John, the folks at Utah Airguns. You know, it was super helpful to have all of those people as resources, people that have been around the block with air guns before. It's a little intimidating at first, but it's really not difficult at all. Getting the compressor hooked up to the tank, charging the air rifle, loading the magazine. You know, once we got those things nailed and down pat, you know, after loading the magazine a few times, it became completely routine. It's really not difficult stuff at all. So I had a great time. I hope you've had a great time watching this video. Some things that I'm thinking about for next time, possibly a caliber swap, maybe stepping it up to a larger diameter projectile, and maybe going into some of the specifics on tuning and performance. You know, if you have particular ideas, I'd love to hear those. Please drop a comment, and we'll see you down there in the comments section. Thank you very much for watching. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're watching Ultimate Reloader on TV and want to take advantage of free resources, exclusives, and hot deals, just hold your camera phone up to the QR code, tap on the link, fill out the information, boom, you're getting Ultimate Reloader emails. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. Thanks again for watching.